walk into a room, and before anyone says a word, you already know. You know who's tense. You know who had a fight before they got here. You clock the exact second the mood shifts, and you're already running the math on whether it was something you did. Everyone else just walked into a room. You walked into a threat assessment. You catch the micro-expression that crosses their face before they smooth it over. The flicker they were sure nobody saw. You can read the temperature of a whole text from its punctuation alone. You catalogue it instantly without deciding to, and then you carry it home, and you turn it over at 2 in the morning, hunting for the thing you missed. People will tell you you're too sensitive, or just too far inside your own head. But that isn't what this is. This is a system. It runs all the time, and you cannot switch it off. There's a man at a dinner table. Everyone is laughing, and he's laughing too, but a part of him is somewhere else. Scanning. He's reading the host's tightening jaw. And he's clocked the friend who's checked her phone twice, and he's already halfway into deciding what it means about him. To everyone else at that table, it's a nice dinner. To him, it's a room full of signals he can't stop decoding. He'll go home tonight, and he'll be exhausted, and he won't be able to explain why. He sat in a chair for 3 hours, but his nervous system ran a marathon. So here's the question nobody thinks to ask him. Why is his brain treating a dinner party like a minefield? And before you decide this isn't you, that you're not some anxious person reading the room, look closer. Because it wears quieter clothes than that. Maybe you reread the message 4 times before you send it, scanning your own words for how they could be taken wrong. Maybe you can tell your friend's mood from the single word, okay. Maybe you walk away from every conversation with a highlight reel of the things you should have said differently. Maybe you're the one everyone calls a good listener, and no one knows it's because you're monitoring them. You already recognized yourself somewhere in that. You know which one is you. You've been told this is a problem with you. That you're too sensitive. That you need to relax, stop caring so much, get out of your head. And you've tried. God, you've tried to just not notice. And it doesn't work, because you can't decide to stop noticing any more than you can decide to stop hearing. All of that advice is built on a mistake. It treats your awareness like a bad habit. It isn't a habit. It's an instrument. And once you understand what it was built to do, you stop trying to break it, and you start trying to retire it. Here's the truth that feels strange at first, and then obvious. That relentless noticing, it is not a flaw in you. It is a machine that is working perfectly. It's just pointed at the wrong century. Picture a radar. Not a curse. A radar. Its entire job, the only job it has ever had, is to sweep the environment for danger and warn you before it arrives. It watches faces. It listens for the gap between what people say and what they actually mean. And it is extraordinarily good at its job. The problem isn't that the radar is broken. The problem is that the radar can't tell what year it is. It was calibrated for a world where the danger was physical and close, and it's still sweeping that world, except now the blips on the screen are a co-worker's short reply and a friend's delayed text. It treats a change in someone's tone like a predator in the grass. Because to the part of you running the radar, there is no difference. You are not a broken person who worries too much. You are a person with a superb threat detection system running at full power in an environment it was never designed for. Because the radar wasn't standard equipment. It was installed. Go back far enough and there was a room. Maybe it was a house where the weather could change without warning, where you learned to read a parent's footsteps on the stairs and know, before the door opened, what kind of night it was going to be. Maybe it was a place where love came and went on a current you couldn't predict, so you learned to watch for the current. Maybe nobody hit anyone and nothing dramatic ever happened, and you still spent your childhood being the one who felt the tension in the house before anyone named it. You were small and you couldn't control the room. So you did the one thing a small person can do. You got good at reading it. You turned yourself into an instrument fine enough to catch the danger early, because catching it early was the only safety available to you. And it layered. The radar kept a child safe in a world that child couldn't control. Reading the room meant seeing the storm coming. Seeing it coming meant you could brace. That wasn't weakness. That was survival, run by someone too young to have any other option. But the radar never got the memo that you left that house. It's still sweeping for a storm that stopped decades ago. It still treats every quiet the way it once treated the dangerous quiet. It is protecting a child who isn't in that room anymore, and it will keep sweeping faithfully forever until someone finally tells it the war is over. And this isn't poetry. It's what the biology actually says. Your brain runs a threat detection system built long before you, tuned by a few 100,000 years, in which missing a danger was fatal and imagining one was merely annoying. Evolutionary psychiatrists have a name for the result. They call it the smoke-detector principle. A smoke alarm is deliberately set to be too sensitive, because the cost of 100 false alarms is a little noise, and the cost of one missed fire is everything. Your brain made the same trade. It would rather flinch at 1,000 shadows than miss a single real threat. That's why the system is lopsided by design. Psychologists call it the negativity bias. The brain weighs threats far heavier than it weighs safety, because a mind that treats danger and comfort as equal is a mind that gets you killed. Your radar isn't being dramatic. It's obeying a rule that kept your ancestors alive. And most of it never reaches your conscious mind at all. The researcher Stephen Porges gave this a name: neuroception. Your nervous system is scanning constantly beneath your awareness, sorting every look and silence into safe or dangerous, and bracing your body before you've consciously noticed a thing. By the time you feel your chest tighten at a certain look, the assessment is already over. You didn't decide to notice. You were told. So here's the question that's probably forming. If it's just an old alarm, if I can see the whole pattern laid out, then why can't I just turn it down? I understand it now. Understanding should be enough. Here's why it isn't. The knowledge you have right now, calm, thinking clearly, lives in the slow, deliberate part of your brain. But the radar doesn't run there. It runs in the fast part, the old part, the part that fires in milliseconds, long before the thinking part has been told anything happened. So the tightening in your chest, the sudden certainty that something is wrong, that isn't a conclusion you reasoned your way to. It arrives before reason. By the time your thinking mind shows up to ask, "Wait, is anything actually wrong here?" the alarm has already gone off, the body is already braced, and the thinking mind's job is no longer to prevent the alarm. It's to explain it. So it invents a reason. They're upset with me. I must have done something wrong. That's the cruel twist. You can't reason your way out of the alarm, because by the time you can reason, the alarm has already handed you the story. You're not failing to control it. You're arriving after it's already spoken. Which means the goal was never to shut the radar off. You can't, and you wouldn't want to. A life with no radar at all is its own kind of danger. The goal is to catch it in the act and take back the wheel it grabbed. Not a personality transplant. 4 moves for the moment the radar lights up. 1. Name the alarm. Out loud if you can. That's my radar. Not a real threat. This isn't a nice idea, it's mechanical. When you put a feeling into words, when you label it, the alarm in the brain measurably quiets and the thinking part comes back online. Neuroscientists call it affect labeling. Naming the alarm doesn't just describe it, it interrupts it. 2. Come back to the room. The radar is never in the present, it's in the future, running the story of what's about to go wrong. So drop out of the story and into the actual room. Feel the chair under you. Notice what's actually, physically in the room with you right now. You are teaching a nervous system stuck in an old threat that this room right now is safe. 3. Keep the fact, drop the verdict. You noticed something real, a pause that ran a beat too long. Fine. That's data. But the danger is not the data. The danger is the verdict your radar bolted onto it. Keep the observation. Refuse the conclusion. She replied with one word is a fact. She's angry with me is a guess wearing the costume of a fact. 4. Let the question stay open. This is the one that's hard. The radar cannot stand not knowing. It needs to resolve every ambiguity right now, decide are we safe or not, close the loop. So you leave it open on purpose. You let, I don't know if they're okay with me, simply sit there, unanswered, and you don't chase the certainty. The open loop is uncomfortable for exactly as long as it takes the radar to learn that an open loop is not a threat. Name the alarm. Come back to the room. Keep the fact, drop the verdict. Let the question stay open. So go back to the man at the dinner table. The room full of signals. Nothing about his radar has changed. It still sweeps. It still catches the tightening jaw, the checked phone, the pause. But this time, he notices the noticing. This time, when his chest tightens and the certainty arrives that something is wrong, he says it quietly to himself. That's the radar, not the room. He feels the chair under him. He keeps what he actually saw and drops the story he built on top of it. And he lets the question of whether everyone likes him stay exactly where it is, open and unanswered and survivable. He's still the most aware person at the table. That never leaves. But for the first time in a long time, he's at the dinner, instead of guarding it. That's the whole thing. Not a mind that stops noticing. A mind that no longer mistakes noticing for danger. So before you go, one honest question for the comments. And be specific, because the specifics are where you actually live. Think about the last time your radar went off. The last time you were sure, in your body, that something was wrong with someone. Don't tell me whether you were right. Tell me this, what was the fact and what was the verdict? What did you actually see and what story did the radar hand you about it? because the moment you can tell those two apart, you've already got one hand back on the wheel.